Well, Jamie, that's still up for debate. One thing is for sure, though, with more than 5,000 users, Zipcars certainly catching on in Baltimore. Now, all those members pay a private company that takes up spots. So while you go searching for parking and digging for quarters, we wanted to know why the city is giving them a free space. For those on four wheels in the city, the hunt is always on for a trophy that spans about 15 feet. You circle, seeking golden space tucked against the curb.
Parking's at a premium. You know, we really need every space we can get here.
Parking spots along many city streets are precious and few. So why are some being given away?
It's a surprise to me. It's a surprise to all these neighbors.
Tom Rivers was shocked to see spaces outside his Fells Point bar suddenly disappear. But that's what happened outside Ale Mary's. These orange signs went up, and days later, some of that neighborhood parking went away.
I said, "What's this for?" And they said, "Zipcars." And we had not heard about any of this. Nobody told us.
They didn't know the spaces they used to share with neighbors would now be used for car sharing with a private company, Zipcar.
It's a real parking solution.
A solution Pete Little with the Parking Authority of Baltimore City says will actually create spots in parking challenged areas by giving the people who live there a reason to ditch their rides.
For every one Zipcar vehicle or car sharing vehicle, it replaces between 15 and 20 personally owned vehicles. So it frees up 15 to 20 spaces.
That's according to a Zipcar impact study that didn't include Baltimore, where more than 100 Zipcars are parked. More than half of those are on the street where you used to park. And while the city says some have been placed in so-called found spaces you couldn't use before, some also replaced metered or residential spots.
They basically said, we want to put spots. This is where we want to put them. What do you think about that?
Sharon Guida with the Charles Village Civic Association says her group was asked to weigh in before Zipcars took up space along 33rd Street. They even got the cars shifted to a location they thought would lessen impact on local businesses.
Our input was heard and it was taken into consideration in the result. So we felt it was a win-win situation.
These are your parking spaces.
But some in the city feel like losers in this deal. At a community meeting in Fells, Tom and his neighbors told us they now have to fight even harder for spaces.
I understand that they're expecting people to get rid of one of their cars possibly and use the Zipcar. It's a great idea. They should pay for the parking space then.
You pay for parking by feeding the meter or getting a residential pass. So how much does Zipcar pay for that same privilege? We checked the contracts and found out that when it comes to car sharing, the city gets Zip. And it's been that way for more than a year since these cars rolled into the city. ABC2 News obtained the Zipcar contract and learned the company got free spaces for the first 18 months. Starting in 2012, they'll pay just $40 per space per month, even though some of the $2 per hour meters those cars replaced could make that same money in just 2 days. And that's not counting ticket revenue.
The benefits that we realize from the service far outweigh, any very small amount that the city might be losing in citation revenue.
And it doesn't take long to find someone willing to sing the praises of sharing.
Well, I wish it was in front of my property right down the street.
Tony Waller gave up 2 cars and now relies on Zipcars. He hopes his neighbors will give up the fight against them.
You have easier parking for everyone else if they just calm down about these 2 spots that were taken. They're not seeing it as 30 spots being taken. Right. That's how I see it.
Spots that may eventually clear out, but until that happens, people like Tom want the program steered in another direction.
I hope it's not too late, because I'm sure there's a better place to put this.
The Parking Authority says it's willing to work with neighborhoods to make sure Zipcars are placed in a spot where they will have a positive impact, and they're already impacting habits. A survey of Baltimore members shows 18% of them have sold their cars since joining the service. 46% have avoided buying one. As for the cost benefit to the city, the Parking Authority says it's actually a pioneer because Baltimore is the first to charge a rental fee to Zipcar for use of their spaces. But according to the contract, the city will only get those monthly rental fees if Zipcars get driven 1,000 daytime hours a month. Josie Sturman, ABC2 News.